Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know, sometimes I like to make it about wrestling figures. It's San Diego Comic Con time. We had my pal Zombie Sailor on to talk about all of the heels and faces action figures that he's producing. And with New York Comic Con finally here, we thought it only appropriate to invite Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks, or Gizmos and Gadgets, his own wrestling figure line, to come to the Notsam Studio, talk about the trials and tribulations of having his own toy line, as well as display some of the amazing figures that he's made so far and that he has coming real soon. Check out my conversation with Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Well, here we are. You know that from time to time, I enjoy making this a collector's corner, right? I mean, a big part of my wrestling fandom has to do with wrestling figures. I've had Bill McKenna in here from Mattel to talk about figures that they've been making. I've had Zombie Sailor in here talking about figures he's been making. And now Mitch himself from Hasttel Toys, I would say, and of course, Grapplers and Gimmicks.
Thanks, Sam.
Is here. The ever controversial, but I think these days skewing positive, Mitch from Grapplers and Gimmicks. That's got to feel good.
I love it. We're doing our best.
Yeah. yes. And I do think that things are skewing positive for you in a big way, because people are getting the product in hand. And that's what I've always been. I tell that to everybody. Like, ultimately, when you're making wrestling figures, as somebody who collects, doesn't make, I always feel like the product should do all the talking. Yep. And I feel like in your case, that's what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah. We put a lot of effort into trying to get these things out as fast as possible. So
okay. Let's start, because I'll tell you, like, a lot of people, I was like, boy, because we've known each other for a while, right?
Of course, yeah.
We've known each other for a long time. Yep. I bought Hasbro's from you.
Oh, yeah.
Way back in the day. My Mail Away Hogan came from you.
Macho Man on the card, I think.
Yes, Macho Man Series 1 on the card.
Minty Owen Hart yellow card.
I believe a 1, 2, 3 kid came from you. Is that where I got
so
that?
Too, yeah.
Yes. And it was right before the boom.
Literally right before.
Which is great timing for me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Bad for me, good for you.
But then you announced you're getting into the retro game.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, I hope he understands the undertaking that this is going to be, because it's a lot, right?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I kind of anticipated going through a lot of trials and tribulations and things like that, you know. But it was a little bit more difficult than even I could have imagined.
It was. So far, what's been the thing that's been like, man, I didn't know that part was going to be tough? Or what's been that thing that's like that people don't fully understand?
It's probably mostly like the communication between, because I don't have like a translator, so you're kind of at their whim as far as like, expressing your wishes and wants to them.
To the factory in China.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. And I've been fortunate with the representatives that I've been dealing with, that they're very, I don't know, they're very learned in the English language. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
And it's funny too, because I mean, there were accusations being flung your way that you weren't even going to factories in China, and here you are, like,
I was
stressed out
in a basement in Ohio with my buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think everything changed when you got product in hand. So let's talk about, first of all, Grapplers and Gimmicks, the name of the company.
Yep.
Do we appreciate the fact that people make fun of this name, that people call it Gizmos and
Gadgets?
Gizmos and Gadgets.
Only because it's coming from the source. I think it's okay. You know what I mean? Because, as I'm sure we'll talk about, like, those guys have done a lot for me, and you know that. I'm sure they're very aware of it. They definitely helped put me on the map. I don't even think you and I would have become friends if it wasn't for them. Like, they kind of maybe pointed you in my direction, kind of like inadvertently. You know what I mean?
I don't remember exactly how I found your Instagram, but I could believe it was for the Major Brothers podcast for sure.
But yeah, it doesn't bother me really, as long as people know where to go to find what they need to find, and I'm happy with it. You know what I mean?
And you've survived. You've had to develop a very thick skin.
Yes, yeah. Like rhino thick.
Well, look, this is what we got. In the very beginning, we saw prototypes, and I will tell you, and I've told anybody, and I think I told you yourself that, like, when I got these in hand, I said, look, dude, like, this is a major accomplishment.
Thank you.
The fact that you pulled this off, I opened them. I was like, these are real figures, right? We have, I was going to say the Godfather, but that's, of course, not true. This is the Smoke Train and Uncle Tony.
Uncle Tony Norris.
Formerly known as Ahmed Johnson and the Godfather. Okay, so already, right, there's a I would say somewhat dramatic difference between the Godfather figure and the Ahmed Johnson figure, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
How did that come about?
Well, the first one was sculpted by Sal, and then
from Rush Collectibles.
And then the second one was sculpted by somebody else, a guy named Dave, and he did a pretty darn good job. Obviously, they were all based on the original stuff that came out from the OG company, but we do enhance them, and I think make them look like our own too. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's really the big difference, is the sculpting on these. And and there's a big, and by the way, you don't need to slam any screwdrivers into anything.
No.
You can see right here, these you sent me, I opened these. These are mine. The feet have never even close to come loose. There's no splitting in the shoulders. They're good. They're in, you can see they're in great shape. I got them when they came out, opened them, moved them, whatever. They're, they're good to go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, legitimately, like I was telling you off camera, we had about, if I had to guess, I'd say it was somewhere between like eight and nine actual figures that had like a foot issue or something like that. But when you're, mass producing these things, I'm sure even, Bill would tell you that, there are going to be casualties, sadly, you know what I mean? But I'm happy that yours were good and I didn't have a bad another bad experience.
So it was bad luck for sure. So not only was I, first of all, I was surprised that they came out at all. Not because of you. I'm with anybody who makes these figures, especially as like it's one thing to be an independent company. It's another thing to be a guy.
Yeah.
Right. You are a person. That's it.
Yeah.
And there are other people, and I am pleasantly surprised when anybody makes it past the finish line, because it's a difficult thing to do.
Yep.
Wait, so right off the bat, I was like, wow, he did it. How did you get him done so fast? Because that struck me, right? I was like, what was it, 6 months from the time you announced them until the time they actually came out?
Just about, yeah.
How is that possible?
A lot of harassment to China. Like every other day, like, hey, is there anything else you need from me? Kind of like, not trying to push it too much, but you got to kind of stay on top of them. That's one of the secrets, because you get lost in the shuffle. I think also if certain companies use certain factories, then I think, maybe it's a bigger factory where they have a lot more going on.
I see.
You know what I mean? And also, other companies are making 15,000 maybe figures or whatever it is, the bigger companies. We're making, with these, we did 1,000 units, you know what I mean? So I think that has a lot to do with it too, and, I'm just fortunate that they would even entertain somebody like me, because before I even found the first company, there were a lot of companies that wouldn't even entertain me because there was such a small quantity of figures.
Right.
So I was fortunate to have that too. So,
and tell me what happened. When Smoke Train came out, it was thank yous on the back of the packaging.
Oh yeah.
Right. Everybody who, whatever, they got their name thank you on the packaging. But I thought there was going to be some kind of innovative technology. You have promised some kind of innovative thing, but then it was just on the back of the packaging, which is probably fine. I didn't need a fold out.
Yeah.
Thank you. But was there a plan for something else originally that then you went, you know what? Let's just put it on the back of the card.
Yeah, because we didn't know what, I mean, of course you can dream, you know what I mean? And pray every night,
So you're thinking, I got to make room for 10,000 names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So in that case, it would have been I always joke and I call it almost like the 10 Commandments. It would have been something that opened up like a book in the back,
Is that what you had in mind? Like if you had needed the more space, would it have been a book on the back of the card?
Been one of those like the Undertaker Mall magazine cover, inside cover.
A fold out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe like a piece of Velcro to keep it closed, and then you would have opened it up like
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I mean, bittersweet. We didn't need it. You know what I mean? It was one less thing for me to have to think about.
Right. Probably for the better. You could just go with standard carding.
Correct.
You know, not have to reinvent the wheel here.
Which, you know, everybody loves the OG carding. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now, was there a panic? They came out together.
Mm-hmm.
Was there at all a panic when they first got in that you're like, I got to open a bunch of them to make sure that they're not, you know, that they're good? And as you can see, I'm holding him by his head, shaking it.
Fine,
are you nervous when I do this?
Yeah,
are you a little nervous? Okay.
It survived this long. Of course, I have to be sitting in front of it when I fall. The major issue with those was if you get to see one, you know, apart, which, like I said, it's very far and few. But
yeah.
They're a little like grooves that this factory, when they did the articulation, they made these grooves that kind of like interlock with each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like the standard, you know, Hasbro or retro figure is going to have these like pegs that go into like a hole, like a male and female
sure
thing.
Nice.
Yeah. But the, you know, the factory was very, very, very confident that this wasn't going to happen, and they're going to put extra glue and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, who am I to argue with them? They're the professionals, right?
Especially your first time out.
Correct.
Right.
So, and like I said, and like you said, like for the most part, they were fine, you know, but we did have a couple of casualties. And
so is the, and then I haven't seen them yet, but Men on a Mission, Bobby Horn and Nelson Frazier, known in most circles.
Yeah, AKA, FKA, yeah, those guys.
Yeah. You announced that you already have them, and I'm like, how is this even feasible? How did you get, number one, did you change up the way they were being produced? Did you change factories? Did you do anything? And number two, how on earth did you get those guys done so quickly?
Different factory, because when I found, I panicked, you know, when that foot thing happened, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I'm never going to live it down no matter what I put out now. You know, I can put out 24 karat gold figures and somebody will always reference a foot.
Check the feed.
Yes. But, you know, it's all good. You know, so I was already kind of like, man, I need to use it. Yeah, as much as I love these figures, I feel like I needed to find a new factory. So I started searching. And then while these were like going out, I had already had the sculpts, because I already started using a different sculptor. So I started with the new factory and I'd sent that out. So those were already in the works. By the time these were like shipping out, these other ones were already kind of like in production. You know what I mean? And obviously we made more of those that, you know, than we did these as far as quantity goes. So that's how that one kind of got just as quick a turnaround. I think it might even been a little bit faster from like pre-order to you know, receive.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that just putting them on a boat would take.
Well, that's another thing. So I don't use any of that boat stuff, like freight. I don't know what they call them, cargo.
You airmail?
Ships. Everything gets airmail.
Isn't that like insanely expensive?
I paid $5,000 to have. I don't know if we're talking numbers here.
I love it. I would never be impolite, but I love numbers.
Nothing to hide.
$5,000
for the first shipment of Bobby Horn and Nelson Frazier.
Now, does that mean
just in shipping was $5,000?
$5,000 to ship them here.
And we're not talking mold cost, production cost, sculpting cost, royalty cost, all that other stuff, you know?
And how, that's right, because that all comes out of your end. It's not like that comes out of their end.
Exactly.
How, you said the first run. So, like, are people who haven't gotten their figures in the first run, do they have to wait for a boat to come, or are you?
No boats. Everything's still. I haven't touched the cargo containers yet. So everything we've done so far has all been airmailed in express or.
Are you gonna get another airmail order? So you're gonna drop another $5,000 on airmail?
So what happened was, I snorted, folks. But what happened was, we got them in like waves. So as they were being done, I was telling them to ship out like boxes of them to me.
Okay, so that's another way that you're speeding things up.
Right.
You're, instead of waiting until all 1,000 or however many you're doing, if they get 80 of them done.
Each one of them was
how many are in a wave?
So far there was 1,000 of the golden yellow color. And then there was 150 of each of the the colorways that we did for New York Comic Con.
You've already got 1,000 of the yellow ones?
The last batch came a week ago, and we had a lot of the same troubles that we were having with the first ones.
Falling off the card?
Mabel's, I mean, you felt him just recently, but like, you know, it's he's heavy, you know, so he's like 6 ounces almost, and he fell off a lot of them were falling off the cards.
So what are you? What's your plan for alleviating that?
So we have two options that I'm toying with now. It's like just like the new retros. We could do like the plastic, with like the cardboard that goes in the back. So it's kind of like that sleeve that comes out, which I thought was a great idea. I know a lot of the purists, and I'm included in that group. I know a lot of them like prefer just to have the bubble on the card.
I like just the bubble on the card. I'm also not producing them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, and I respect that from everybody because I'm the same way. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? I'm no longer an MOC collector. I open up I have, you know, just about the whole set now of every retro, including the ZST and including the Epic and all the retros that Mattel has produced and stuff like that. So I went back and got them all. So I do prefer the regular cards, but I do feel like when you're dealing with shipping, especially nowadays, I feel like it's the safer bet. Like there's less problems, less bending, less veins in the cards, less popping
Sure,
off.
the card itself is going to stay. It's almost like shipping with a protector.
Right. And that's what I love about it. I'm sorry. But that's what I love about it. I feel like the way I'm going to do it is now we got these like holographic seals that I'm going to, if we do go that route, that they will go on the lips, or the back 3 lips, and then we'll put like a heavy duty tape over that.
So you know if it's MOC or not.
Because if you remove, it's kind of like when we used to get like DVDs and stuff like that.
Sure.
Remember, or I think it was DVDs or any electronics. When you used to rip that little hologram, it would say void, or it would say like, you would know that it was removed from the package. I think
Right.
PlayStation had them and stuff. But so I think that's kind of cool for the MOC collectors because they'll know, like you said, they'll know if it's been fooled with. You know.
So is that, you said there were 2 options? Is that one of them?
The other option is to remake. I think we're short like 100 Nelsons now.
I see what you're saying. So if you did it the first way, you could do that yourself. You don't need to get the factory to make a bunch more figures.
I would put on, wash my hands, make sure they're clean, put on my protective.
Get some white gloves on.
I got the pink ones at home. Put the pink gloves on and off to the races.
I see. It makes a lot of sense because otherwise you got a ton of loose men on missions,
which is fine because we've been, because I did order extra, obviously. So we had, I think we had like 150 extra sets or something like that. People have been messaging me, hey, can you send us, do you have loose ones? Because they didn't, a lot of like me, they're loose collectors anyway. So I gave, all the people that had ordered, I had kind of put out a bulletin. I sent out multiple emails. I said, hey, listen, if you don't mind and you're a loose collector and you don't want to wait until we get replacements or we figure out a solution here, then we'll ship them out to you loose. And a lot of the people, believe it or not, either being cool with me for over the years of just, selling them product or whatever, they're like, Mitch, you're good. Trust us. Just send me the figures loose. Make sure, obviously pack them well like you always do. And so we put away a lot, like more than half the orders went out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, let's see. Do you have Men on a Mission over there carded?
I
you have
do.
them carded.
I do.
And I also appreciate the fact that you're being open about like you're not trying to. There it is. You're not trying to come up with. You said straight up. Yeah. They're coming off the card. Yeah. Like, do you want me to pretend they're not, or they're in good.
We had a lot more Nelson casualties because of his weight.
Look, I mean, for what it's worth,
you could shake them up. I mean, the ones that didn't fall off, they're
on good.
I don't know if it
almost makes me want to keep these MOC because they'll be few and far between. But there you go. So this is
you can if you want, I can always we could always get some other ones to you when we get them. If not,
yeah, we got to pop these open for the people. Nelson over here.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he is. It's heavy too. It's heheavier than I thought it would be.
0.6 ounces heavier than Yoko.
Wow.
So he's the heaviest retro.
Did you do that on purpose or did it happen that way?
Well, so it's a funny story, I think. They wanted to hollow out his butt and his legs. like to use less plastic, and I was like, no.
You didn't let him.
I don't want hollow, men on a mission or Nelson or whatever you want to call him. I said,
and it feels cheap when it
feels super cheap.
Yeah.
And if, I didn't want that, especially this is my second chance. You know what I mean? For, like I said, I still love the first two. I think, they look great. You know what I mean? I'd say 98% of the people that got them were super happy.
But there's room for improvement. And
correct.
If you're not improving, like, what are we doing?
Right.
Right.
It should always get a little bit better, even if it's something minor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I insisted that they fill his legs with plastic, and
you insisted that they filled his butt.
They fill his butt with plastic, and they did, and they charged me an extra $1 a figure because it was the weight of 2 figures. So, but it was worth it. I mean,
do you have some kind of secret like financier that you're paying like an extra $1 for Mabel's filling? You're paying $5,000 to have them airshipped here.
Well, that's why when I went in, I made sure that the price point on these things was like affordable for collectors, because let's be honest, most of the people that are buying these things are folks that are our age. You know what I mean? They're getting it for the nostalgia. They're getting it to fill in the gaps, right?
Of course.
But so $38.99 with no shipping charge added to that for people in the US, I think that's reasonable, especially these days. You go in and you pick up a NECA figure and it's $34.99 plus tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think, if you factor in the shipping, you're talking about somewhere $30 for the figure.
Right. And that's why I said, that I didn't mind going the extra mile, and I really wanted to put my best foot forward. And you're holding it up, but just a quick Easter egg is that little King Nelson picture on the back, that's actually the exact size of a trading card. You can cut it out and put it into a top loader.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was actually done by his brother-in-law.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was his wife's brother that did that art, and it's what's that guy's name? Steinberger, the guy that does some of the.
Oh yeah.
I felt like it's very Steinberger-esque, if that's his name. I'm sorry if I'm.
It's not his
that.
name, but I did notice. I did notice we got a little Mitch on here too.
Oh, you have to.
You got to have. Now we have seen the evolution of the carding, certainly. Since the beginning, going in, obviously, I think you found your way with this style.
Yep.
Kind of Hasbro-esque. But do you consider these to be in series, right? Because there's no on the back of here.
It doesn't say.
We have the 3D renders of Dennis Knight, Mark Canterbury, Bobby Horn, Nelson Frazier Jr.
Right.
Do you go like, well, this is wave 1, this is wave 2, or is it just like we sell figures?
Technically, Smoke Train was series 1, so that's a great. I love that question actually. So it's
a nerdy question.
I love it.
What we do,
but I love it. So basically, he was series 1, and what I said was, I guess this also like piggybacks the other stuff that we were talking about, but I felt that if I made one figure at a time, that I can get them produced faster. So if I had made 5 or 6 at a time, customers are, that are completists or that are going to become completists or whatever the story is, they're going to want to buy them all. And then that's like, for the average Joe like me, or, that's to shell out $300 in one shot is sometimes that's a lot of money, depending on what you have going on.
I mean, it's a lot of money for most people.
Right. So that's why, I was like, let me do one at a time. Maybe I can concentrate more on the one figure. I don't have to divert my attention to all these things. I can kind of focus on one thing at a time. And so it worked for me. And then while we were doing that, I already had the sculpt for Tony done. And then we put that one in, and I was like, oh, I said, this is good. It's coming. And then they just so happened to come together. You know what I mean? Because it was the same factory at the time. So, but then we did series 3, we would call it. And it's these two now, right?
Okay, so each shipment, so that means Oscar's not in series 3.
Oscar is going to be series 4, technically, because it's going to be Savio and Savio and the Farmers are going to be next. So that's series. There'll be 3 series.
I thought these
series 4.
This is series 3.
It's gonna be 3 in series 4.
What a mess!
It is a mess.
Should we open these up?
I'd go for it.
All
man.
right.
I'm excited.
Popping it right off the card there.
It's the first time I've ever seen, I think, anybody open one in front of me.
Is it nerve-wracking?
No.
It's good. It feels significant. Nice weight to it.
He's heavy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, honestly, like, you can see the glue in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, you can see that this is significantly more sturdy than...
They probably wanted to dump me the factory because I kept saying, like, please make sure extra glue, please.
Yeah.
It turns.
It's good and tight. It turns. The head There
it is.
That was a good snap, not a bad snap.
No, not a bad snap.
Yep, nope, that's the way it's supposed to be.
He does have a little bit of a glisten. You know, I know some people said, "Oh, that's
well,
funny."
you got rid of the Hasbro shine. Yeah. We can look at it. We got rid of you were advertising for a while the Hasttel shine.
Yeah.
And there's some shine, a little bit of shine on Smoke Train, not too much. A lot of shine on Uncle Tony.
Uncle Tony needed the shine. He had that baby oil. So.
That's true. No shine on old Nelson though.
Yep.
Why no shine?
This factory, for some reason I don't know what it was. I said, can you please, make sure this is sprayed, like put the, the finish on it. You know what I mean? And they just kept telling me, we're going to put gloss in the paint and it's going to be, and then obviously it's injected in the golden yellow color. So that's not paint. And then the rest of it is, kind of like a typical old school Hasbro. It's just the parts that needed to be painted were painted.
Yep, that's the way Hasbro did it. They always had it. Yep. Now, tell me about the choice for yellow. Very controversial. Many people wanted gold. The prototypes were gold. We got yellow. Lakers yellow. Why yellow?
The original ones were, truthfully, they were like it was still yellow, but it was more like I guess it was a different shade of golden yellow. But it was when I looked at them, as much as I loved them, because I think the sculpt really screams.
Good sculpt,
I mean?
yeah.
I saw it and for some reason I was staring at it and I was like, man, I had to give them the Pantone colors for people that are out there. You have to use this book still of it's almost like a fan. You open it up and it has like all these Pantone colors in it. And I'm looking at the color and me and my wife actually were looking at it and I said, I feel like this for some reason this yellow is just not, it doesn't pop to me. I don't know why. And then I said, let's try something different. You know what I mean? And I felt like these were more toyetic, the colors. I felt like they kind of fit in with the. And then they say, oh, the gold, but Hasbro never made a figure that was entirely gold. They had figures that had gold accents. They had figures that had little like lapels on DiBiase.
DiBiase Series 1.
The knee pads on Macho Man.
Razor vest. Tight deco.
Yep. But I felt like, I don't know, for some reason my heart told me that I felt like Hasbro wouldn't have made them all gold. I don't know. I just, was.
Are you going to take the Major Pod advice and do a gold set, a gold variant set?
I was originally like throwing around the idea with China to see what they would say to me but then
they're so sick of you.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like also I feel like if I were the customer or the follower of Instagram or whatever you want to call the folks, my friends on Instagram, I feel like you'll be PO'd if
too similar.
Yeah, if you get this, you're gonna be PO'd. That maybe if you really were one of the smaller minority or bothered by the yellow, then you'll be annoyed that there's a version coming out that's gold and then you have to buy another set. Or if it's a limited edition, you're gonna be PO'd that you have to spend the extra money. You know what I mean?
Good texturing, by the way, in the hair and in the pants too.
Yeah.
Good, and even in the back of the shirt, there's like, it's not, you could go real cheap and smooth, but there's wrinkles in the shirt, there's wrinkles in the sleeves, like there's texture throughout. And I think it's a unique aesthetic. I know people have talked about it a lot. I think it's very cartoony in a good way.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like
it's not overkill with the cartooniness.
No, yeah. But it feels like a kid's toy made for adults, if that makes sense. Like it's
totally makes sense.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get the tag team partner open. young Bobby Horn.
AKA,
by the way,
FKA Mo.
Very good. Very good.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was the...
Does it bum you out that, like...
Yeah.
Because you can't... for the most part, was Bobby fine?
Yes.
Or was he falling off too?
A lot less fell off than...
But you can't just do one.
Right.
You have to switch both of them.
Right.
That makes sense.
So...
That's annoying, but
I think
it
was
makes
also
sense.
the lip. I seriously, when they sent me the top samples, I said, hey, the lips on the bubbles are a little small, you know, compared to like even the Smoke Train and Tony Norris. You know, I said,
well, I've also noticed that when on yours, when the bubbles come off, it's not a positive or negative. I'm just curious. So like the line is super smooth and it kind of pops right off.
Yep.
Is that a difference in the process of how it's produced as opposed to like the paper kind of tearing off when it goes?
Yeah, I don't, you know, the first factory, it was similar, but they had the bigger edges on the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So is that snap again?
Good snap. Good snap. Don't worry.
Snap.
Good snap. We got a good snap on Mo too. Mo is nice and tight. I can see here again. These are vastly improved, honestly, from old Tony. If you can see even the seam.
Yep.
On the waist there. There's absolutely like I said, on my toe, these are similar size too. And like this is just a much more substantial feeling figure. Like I said, I had no problems with the splitting on my Tony, but I do see where it's like, oh, I see where that could happen to some people. No, this is totally different.
Yeah, it's I'm very proud of them. You know what I mean? I know it was there were some other folks involved too, like my sculptor Sean, who's my new sculptor, does a lot of the ones that we have coming out and the ones we've seen recently in the last few months. You know, he's a great guy who's become like one of my closest friends. But we have a lot of the same passion as it comes to figures and things like that. And
let's do something special, right? Because I think one of the reasons everybody was looking forward to Men on a Mission was because of the orange card set. You know, there's the
fabled,
Lost
yes,
orange card set, 7 figures.
Yep.
It was this amazing. We've all seen the illustrations that Mr. Ron Rudat did.
I love that thing. As soon as I saw it, I texted you right away.
I crazy, right?
I love it. Yeah.
Well, we can finally rebuild that series because so we've got and you've made comments about this on social, which I love. The fact that everybody combined has been able to pull this off, right? So we have...
It's almost like a Power Ranger effort, right? Like
yes.
Everybody's, And
it's also a great way to see how they fit into the collection, right? So there's Mabel and Mo from Grapplers and Gimmicks. Jeff Jarrett, of course, from Zombie Sailor.
Yep. And I love that figure, by the way.
Great figure. We've got All-American Lex. I'll put it on this side from Mattel.
I love the representation of the All-American Luger.
Diesel.
Yep.
From Mattel.
That figure gets a lot of slack, but I really love that Diesel.
You know what? I think it fits in good with the Grapplers and Gimmicks in the sense that the aesthetic is is what I was describing. Doink.
And that Doink is actually a masterpiece. I love the paint application on it. I love his hair. It almost looks like if you look at it from far away, it almost looks like, and you have that old Doink in your brain, like in the back of your mind, it almost looks real, right? Or is it just your mind playing tricks on you?
Totally.
And
I believe this is the first time ever we're assembling this.
Oh,
we've got him.
You got it?
We've got him.
Oh,
because
man.
I thought it'd be cool to assemble the whole set.
Is monumental, right?
Yes, I believe, and I'm opening it fresh so that everybody gets a fair shake.
Oh man,
the 7th figure.
There it is. History has been made, folks. You could almost hear that in the Gorilla Monsoon voice.
Bastion Booger. And we have done it for the first time.
Gosh.
There you go, guys.
There it is.
This is the the orange card set.
Yeah.
Finally assembled. And I love that, except for Diesel, they all come on orange cards.
I know.
Isn't that fun?
A lot of people are recarding them now too.
To make it look like the old school Hasbro. Yeah.
This is amazing.
So
Sam.
there you go. That's it.
I love it.
Thanks to Zombie, Mattel, Grapplers and Gimmicks, Zombie, Mattel. the whole set.
That's awesome.
And look at that. And look at
I'm actually happy that I was able to be here and firsthand.
Look at the Booger Man and Mabel. Look at that together. Doesn't it look cool all together?
I really love that Bastion Booger figure, man.
It's a cool figure.
Zombie, he is a master at stuff that he does. You know
yes.
what I mean? And,
yes.
I'm just proud to be in that, the world of retro figures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool thing to see it all assembled. The Mega Powers.
I love it.
There it is. That's the set. We have it. Who would have thought 2023, we finally, as we close out 2023, we finally get it. Now, you can't get the Diesel anymore. You can get the Bastion Booger.
He literally just came out. He's not, I think most people don't even have it, right? Like you're
right. Yeah. It hasn't shipped yet. I got it specifically because I was like, dude, I want to, Mitch is coming.
Yeah.
We're going to have Men on a Mission. Let's assemble the set. You can't get Jeff anymore. Can you still get this set from Mattel?
I don't. Mattel Creations.
I think they still have it. And is there any way for people to still get Men on a Mission? I mean, they can go to New York Comic Con.
Yep, I'll have them available this week at Comic Con, but in small quantities.
And then I guess what we'll see, right?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the.
Is there any as people have gotten to see the product? That's okay. As people have gotten to see the product and gotten into it, has there been any thought of like, how do I make these continuously available? Right? Like, because I think there are plenty of people that, they're like, I don't know about this pre-order thing.
Yep.
But then once you see them, they're like, oh, you know what? I actually do want it.
That's what happens. And I've been noticing that. But I've also noticed that after the first two figures came out, that more people were willing to jump on board because they knew, they were going to get the figures first because I literally go in the order that they were received.
That's smart.
This time we had to change it up a little bit only because there were some that had later orders, but they were willing to take the loose ones. So rather than to sit on these figures, and I obviously sent theirs out first because the format that they chose to receive them.
Yeah.
So
what else do we have? We have
I got a bunch of goodies.
We have a bunch of new stuff. I love new stuff.
Yeah, this is the
that I haven't gotten a chance to see.
I guess we'll start with these. These are
the Comic Con exclusives.
Yep, they're different, more of the debut attire.
Really nice, very toyetic.
I love the colors.
The turquoise, the pink.
I like the pink on there. So
I know you do. Pop these cases open.
So again, we had,
like you said, I saw it on Instagram, sealed bag.
Just and I know you love the mail away, so
I do,
I basically the same thing. These all came in the same shipment. They came in the last shipment of the of the first release. So same issues obviously because they were made at the same time. Basically, they came at the tail end of the production.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the same problem with the bubbles falling off. Initially, we were gonna try to do something where we got those sleeves, but the timing just wasn't there, and I already promised people that I would release these for New York Comic Con. Also, I wanted to get them out for New York Comic Con, so it was exciting for me because this is my first Comic Con exclusive that we did in person.
Yeah,
we had the Smoke Train white vest version, but I wasn't at San Diego Comic Con. This was important to me to have them physically out. So,
not a cheap product, very expensive product. I noticed.
Which one?
Price tag is very expensive. Very expensive price tag.
We so I only made 100. Literally, there was 150 that came to me. They didn't even send me an extra 2. Although they did send me, I think it was 4 top samples before they had mailed them all out. So I do have 4 that I'm going to keep for my personal collection for the time being. But other than that, all the other ones are going to be going in the mail away-esque sealed, heat sealed bags.
Yeah.
A lot of people I think thought it was cool. It was one of those things where I had to do it in a timely manner. So, and I wanted to have them out for Comic-Con. So that's why we did them like this.
Now, what kind of numbers are we putting out on the website? Because they disappear so quickly, these exclusives, but the price tag is
it was
way up high.
I put the price tag at $159.99, I believe.
Oh yeah.
For the set.
Oh yeah.
It's not cheap.
It's a pricey item.
Right, but
pricey item.
I really just wanted to
get that money.
But a lot
trying to pay for this shipping.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Literally, like most of the money that we make from these exclusives literally goes right back into the figures themselves. Like I'm not going to like the Bahamas, not yet, but I'm not going to the Bahamas and like having a pina colada on the beach. All this money that we're making, a lot of it is going right back into the company itself. Which is a legitimate company now. I'm proud to announce. Grapplers and Gimmicks is actually a corporation. So,
there it is.
Yeah. So is Hasttel, and they're both trademarked too. But,
good. Well, I don't know if anybody's trying to steal.
Well, you never know. You get that one cuckoo out there,
That's true. That's true.
But I tried to make them as special as possible. I always loved the mail away. I always loved the concept of getting them in those little baggies.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to do it right, and I feel like they look cool, and then people really dug it. I think
Speaking of pricing, you did also if we could tackle controversial topics, you got a little heat when you were what's it called scalping your own merchandise. Not too long ago, you found some old figures. You knocked the price way up on those.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a mistake, or do you stand by it because we're trying to make some money here?
There's multiple reasons why I did that. The first reason was I felt like all the people that actually pre-ordered the figures and that took that leap of faith, so to speak. Even if it was only $38.99, you know what I mean? Again, it's still $38.99 of your hard-earned money, right? In most cases, I felt that if those people, took the time to do that and waited their 4 months or whatever it was, that they were entitled to get those figures for less money. I think that's like that should be one of the, at least in my eyes.
No, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Except the people that didn't, we're gonna have to get them for much more money.
Yeah, I think we were doing like $48 at the time. We were doing $48 for, the regular versions. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that much of a huge difference. And if you go on eBay right now.
Are they going for a lot on eBay? I haven't.
Yeah, I think for the most part they're well over $100 each now.
Really?
Yeah, the Men on a Mission. Somebody just Nelson Bobby, just sold a loose set of them for over $200 plus like $12 shipping. Or
all
something
right. Well,
like that.
I guess we're going on eBay after this.
Yeah. And then I think a carded Nelson sold the other day. And again, this is not me. Anything I do, yourself. If I'm gonna sell stuff, I don't sell these kind of things on eBay. So it's not me doing it. It's not me doing it on the low. Or
have you thought about it?
Of course, but I feel like if it comes to pass, then I'm really gonna get crapped on.
Oh,
so that's
can you imagine if people found out? Well, I mean, so what? You can make an extra $150 and
right.
everybody it would destroy you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like that's why I just do it in the open. Like, hey, you know what? They're $10 more a piece. You want them? You're gonna,
And did you sell those?
Oh yeah, they're almost all gone.
Boom.
I knew I was doing New York Comic Con since because I did last year and the year before also, so I knew it was coming, and I wanted to have like a representation of some of them. So that's why I said.
So you hold extras aside too for like convention stuff. I think that's totally fair.
The carded ones that you just ripped open were ones that I already intended on giving you anyways before, So and hope people aren't upset about that. But those were already designated to you anyhow. You know what I mean?
I can't get some figures.
Of course you
who's
can.
gonna get upset about that?
But people are like, oh, yeah. But in any case, so I do have like.
You send them my way. If anybody's upset about me getting
I'll
some
send
figures,
them right to you, Sam.
Send them my way. I
take
can
care of my light work.
Oh, I'll take care of that work. I'm entitled to a couple of figures.
You are, at least.
Yeah.
But I brought some like ones that had like minor creases and stuff like that with me. Like I have I think 12 of each, which is nothing for New York Comic Con.
Right.
So I just, like I said, I did want like.
We can get that markup ski though for the con.
Oh, they're gonna be a little bit more. Absolutely. There'll be a little bit more next time. Pre-order them, folks. That's an incentive. At least, I mean, I remember that. I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah, you gotta pre-order because this Mitch is an animal when it comes to price gouging.
Gotta keep those prices up, man. But truth be told, we were supposed to have Juan Rivera, Savio Vega, whatever you want to call him. We were supposed to have those for Comic Con. It was going to be a big deal. We didn't get them, so that's why I'm talking about it now. And the farmers, aka Mark and Dennis, were supposed to be here as well. And due to this whole fiasco with what was going on with the Nelson and Bobby, I think they got sidetracked, and and I think they just didn't have time to finish them. So
again, which goes back to your original point of doing one figure at a time makes everything go a little bit more quickly.
Exactly. So I kind of went against my own values, I guess, or my own standard. And then, you know, I think it kind of bit me in the butt, too. Because if it had just been one of those figures, the chances are that I'd have them right now. You know what I mean?
You got excited.
But I do have, good segue, Sam. I do have the plastic sample.
Now, what is a plastic sample? I've heard all kinds of, do you invent your own vocabulary, or is this, I'm not in the industry, so it could be a real thing. I just go on what I hear on podcasts.
I do sometimes. Because
is plastic sample a thing, or is that just a thing that you say?
I think it is a thing. I think, but this is an actual figure. This is an actual copy,
like a production sample
of Savio. This is the one people are gonna receive.
I'm assuming you don't want me to pop these bags open.
I don't know. You know, I mean, we could if you like.
I would like to pop the bags open just to give everybody, like, look. If we pop these bags open, then you better order them because we're increasing scarcity.
Well, if you open the bags, they're automatically yours. That's it. Now you're stuck with them. So,
should we pop open the bags?
Yes.
Should we do it?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to do them before Savio or show them a little bit?
Maybe it's the grand finale.
Yeah.
Right. You know what? That is a fun, because this is a great Hasbro.
It's like pulling one of those poppers, like the confetti poppers.
That's right. This is the Grapplers and Gimmicks mailaways. Imagine having a mail away Hogan, and you're just like, you know what? Let's rip the bag open.
We can. If I see one over there, we can.
We'll probably leave the Hogan, but for now, keep watching. We're gonna pop these bags open by the end of the video.
To get through that, get that Hogan to you.
This looks awesome, dude.
Thank you.
This looks awesome. And I remember, you improved. Oh, look. You know what I'm a sucker for? The little details. You don't go cheap. Let me put it center. There is, and I hope it's on the final product too. The little SV.
This is the final product.
The little SV on the pocket of the pants. The molded SV.
But I did not want to color it in because I felt that it looked very Hasbro-esque.
Not colored.
Not colored in.
You did that because you thought it was because Hasbro would totally.
It would not have cost me any more money to make it white.
Like Macho Man's tape not being painted, or
Rick Martel with the
100%.
Yep.
That's fun.
Yep. So that was intentional.
Wow. And I remember you. We got the point. Very Slaughter-esque.
Yep.
I remember you. You caught a little guff when you first released the original sculpt of Savio. Was not a great sculpt. I will tell you.
That was me getting excited.
Yeah, this is a great sculpt.
But this is also a Sean production too. Like he fixed the head for me and then redid.
The back is molded. It's not just painted. The lettering is molded.
It's raised up.
The stripes are molded. They're not just painted. Wristbands, obviously. Yeah, and it feels. It feels like it's like this is what the figure's gonna.
And you'll see his arms do have a little bit more of a glisten to them. Like the plastic is a little shinier.
Little bit. It's not Uncle Tony level.
No.
Right?
But it does have a little bit more of a...
You know what? I kind of feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, like these guys, Smoke Train and Tony, were your testers. And that the real line, the representation of what this line is, kind of starts...
It's like it reset.
With almost. Nelson and Bobby and Savio's next. Because Savio does seem like he fits right in with this.
And I feel like I think it's because he got kind of jumbled up. I still love both of those original ones. They're very sentimental. And I think they do still represent.
They're fun. They're super fun.
They do still represent, and especially Ahmed. I love that. I always thought, I made customs of him when I was a youngster, and they looked very similar to that actually. But I feel like I agree with you 100%. I feel like just by meeting up with the new sculptor and everything like that, it's a different flavor. It's like when you have a chef cook chicken parm.
That's it. Wrestling nowadays, different flavors of ice cream.
You know what I mean?
Different flavors of ice cream.
But you know, I still love that Tony. I feel like it definitely fits in with the Hasbro's, you know, the way it should. You know what I mean? And he's also become like a really close friend of mine too. Now.
Uncle Tony?
Yeah. And same with Godfather.
Yeah. What other, are there more,
Yep.
what are we calling them? Plastic samples, paint samples?
So I think this is the first time I ever had this out in public.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is.
And these, by the way, are not like prototypes that feel like they're going to fall apart. This is a production.
That one is the actual.
Grab that mic.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's the actual figure that's going to come out. So that's a final product. That's why I guess that's why they call it a plastic sample, because
who calls it that?
Yeah, maybe me. This is a prototype. Now this one is
okay. I'll be delicate with
doesn't
it.
move. It's glued. You know, the arms are glued together for.
Do you glue it together? Because sometimes when we display prototypes, they fall apart. People make fun of you online.
I lost Oscar's fingers because I fell over at like the Pittsburgh convention that I did recently.
Mitch, if you pull this off,
that's all hand painted too. The letters and everything. That's
if you pull this off, you'll kind of be a legend, dude. The braiding is really, really great and intricate on the hair. I'm gonna move Savio over here. Yeah, the braiding, I can't overstate how detailed and textured
the texture is awesome.
the braiding is. And then again, you know, talking about the detailing, not only is that paint on the side of the leg awesome, but if you look, the lacing, you can see the flesh.
It's actually sculpted
under the lacing.
It's not, we didn't just like paint it, but it has the same kind of idea, like the same texture as the.
But it's different color. You didn't just leave the whole thing white or go cheap. Now, is this going to be representative of the final product?
Yes,
it is.
It's you know, there might be a slight variation of, you know, something, because in translation from, like I said, Pantone colors, they stink sometimes, you know. But
the sculpting detail,
the sculpting, yep. This is like I said. So I call this a scale sample. People make fun of me, but
because that's not because you just made that up.
Yeah, because
cool.
years ago, like when Hasbro was doing these figures, right? Like they had to have there was no such thing as a 3D printer,
right?
So now we have that technology in hand that, you know, somebody like you or myself can do these at home. You know what I mean? May not come out as good as a, you know, learned person, but
probably not.
You know, yeah, but especially from me. But you know, so the sculptor will print these for me, and he's very educated in that kind of stuff. And then we send them off to the painter, and then he paints the prototype for us. So rather than, that's another thing that speeds up the process. I guess that also piggybacks what we were talking about before. We basically make our own prototypes here, and then the 3D sculpt file gets sent to China, and then that's when so we already have, you know, 99% idea of how this thing's gonna look. So we don't have to wait for them to do it and then wait for them to ship it to us from China. You know, this is all done here in the US, at the very least. So, you know, that cuts out some time too, because if people are doing these, you know, like I said, prototypes from China, they take longer the turnaround is much longer.
Awesome, man. These look really, really cool. Look at this. This is all your stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
It literally, I swear to you, when you broke out the booger before, the Bastion booger.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guy teary-eyed. I ain't gonna lie, man. I mean,
it's a really cool
Hasbro
thing.
diehard, you know.
It's a really cool thing. Oh, we got more goodies, huh?
Know all the ins and outs of these will all be on display.
New York Comic Con.
At New York Comic Con. I'm not sure if this will air before then, but there goes the garbage pail. That was my mistake. But here's Mike Drosy.
Okay, we can keep the Drosy name. That's good.
Yeah, that's his last name.
Good.
So
do we worry at all about the first? Okay, this looks really cool, and the face actually does it looks like him.
Yeah, he loved it. I mean, I think I saw a tear in his eye when he helped, because he did a signing with us a few months back. Such a nice guy, man.
I like the detailing of the adding color to the gloves, because this is one of those you could go pretty cheap on.
Yes.
And just kind of keep it all. You could probably do it in 2 or 3 colors, but
because he did have outfits where he was all blue, so it could have just been all one straight color with some accented colors on it.
Backwards hat on that stays on as it should. I think the hat should be molded on.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. And when do you think these will
I'm happy to announce that the molds on these are already done also. So I've been like I said, the reinvestment thing. We just keep.
What type of sample is this?
This is another paint sample. So
sample.
Scale sample.
Scale sample.
Yeah.
So it's not right.
This is not the actual plastic.
Savio's like a production sample.
That Savio's 100%. That's how it's gonna look. That's the colors.
That's sick. Yep. I'm gonna need to hit you up for Savio then.
Yeah, no problem. And this is the accessory.
Okay, the garbage can. So thank you.
Tried to make the can as
Oh, the lid does come off. I didn't want to be forceful with it.
And when the final product does come, like we've already tested it, it will hold in his hand, and you can actually, like he used to carry the trash can to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
When you put his hand in those little holes, it will fit, and he'll be able to carry the trash can to the ring.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, look at that.
It opens.
Look at that. Yep. Sticks right on there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. There it is.
Yep.
Boom.
That's
Did you get nervous when I was doing it?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, these are made of the resin or whatever.
Right. Oh, I didn't know the arms moved on that.
They do to an extent.
Gently.
Yes.
Gently. Very, very
you can see
gently.
even the way it's sculpted, he doesn't like fall over even when he's holding the can for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless an earthquake happens, which we're hoping for not. Yep.
Shook it. They didn't fall.
Didn't fall.
That's awesome, man.
Yep. Let's see what else.
Oh, we got more. There's more.
Yeah, we're kind of.
Oh, of course. This is.
These are the farmers.
These are the next ones to come out.
Yeah, these and Savio are gonna be.
Savio is so it's gonna be three.
Three of them. Yeah.
That's sick. So, now, when do you think that'll happen? This year? Next year early?
No,
it's already October.
These are already in the making now.
So how?
So these are the first. These are actually from the mold, and these are made of the actual plastic that the figure is going to be made of. So this is basically the final product. So
are you thinking
they come apart?
Head comes off.
That's how they make the molds.
Okay.
But just so you know, it's not falling apart or anything like that.
Do you think it ships by Christmas, or is that crazy? Not that it should. I mean, you've put out a bunch of stuff already.
I think it will. Is this slap button?
You're hopeful that it'll ship by Christmas, but you can't make that promise.
I'm 98% sure that it's gonna ship by Christmas.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all three of them.
All three.
Unless there's some, like I said, massive.
You're doing airmail on those too?
All airmail. I'm not gonna. I'm like so paranoid, and like God forbid, but especially for the people aboard. But I'm always paranoid that like my figures are gonna be in like with the Titanic, God forbid, or something like that. So
you think the figures are more likely to sink on the boat than to be in a plane crash?
I feel like because they're on the boat for so darn long that like there's more. I don't know. It's just me being nuts. Like, what if they go for the Bermuda Triangle or something, and it's like the ship.
Planes disappear in the Bermuda Triangle.
That's true.
Planes crash.
I know. But the trip is a lot shorter.
So you think that because a boat travels for longer, it's more likely to sink than a plane is likely to crash because planes go so quick.
They go quick. But the thing is...
I'm glad you've done your research on this.
That's how I rationalize things.
No, it's great. I love figuring out how your brain works, Mitch.
I still haven't figured it out.
No, I don't think anybody has. But I'll tell you what. Henry O is looking good. Mark Canterbury is looking good.
And his is...
Let me give you the close-up while I check out
also
Dennis.
Now, this is also, the plastic sample. This is how the figure is going to look.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And here's his buddy. His other buddy.
Oh, okay. So Dennis comes with a pig. Mark comes with a bucket.
Pail, yep.
Packaged individually, not on individual cards.
Yep.
The pig fits under his arm. The attire, I'm assuming, purposely modeled after their first action figures.
Yeah, I always loved those jackets.
I did too, actually.
I thought, and I didn't want to just give him the horseshoe again.
No, I think it's a really good choice of accessories.
The pig was very.
Look how good. I mean, that's pretty toyetic.
And when
colors bouncing and everything.
When he was sculpting them, I really we both kind of put our heads together and we really went with like even the trash can. You could see it still has that realism to it, but it's kind of
cartoony.
It's got the cartoon, enough cartoon,
But people can't pre-order these 3 anymore.
Nope, that's it. Yeah, when they come out, then
Oh, you're getting that price hike.
We're gonna get the price.
You're getting the price hike. What about Drosy? Can people pre-order the Drosy? Will it go back up, or has it gone up?
I'm thinking the week. I haven't put them up yet, but I think the week after Comic Con will.
I'll tell you right now. You better pre-order these figures, because if you don't and you decide you want them, you'll be paying through the nose.
I don't know. I just felt like when I was years ago, I always remembered like when you did pre-orders, like there was an incentive, right? Like the reason you were pre-ordering them is because you didn't want to pay.
You don't want to have to take out a second mortgage to get the figures.
Yeah.
Okay, now talk about timing. I already see what you've got for me here to look at. I'm not going to take it. Talk about timing.
Also a prototype. This is also...
Can I move it or don't move it?
I don't know if he really moves. I kind of glued him.
Yeah, okay.
I glued certain spots just because, again, with Comic Con and if people want to, like...
Sure, or even if he gets knocked or whatever, that makes sense. We have...
If somebody of Sam Roberts' caliber comes around to the booth, which does happen sometimes. You know,
really?
Not often. You know, and he wants to see it. I don't want it to fall apart.
So, that makes sense. Yeah, report to the people.
I believe the Apple will remove, though. I don't think I glued that in. So you might be able to gently dip.
Oh, it's a peg.
Yeah.
Has that been done before?
I don't know.
That's pretty genius.
But I feel like me and the sculptor, Sean, we tried to put our heads together. Like, how is the best way to do this? Should the peg be in his hand? Should the peg be on the Apple?
No, I think that's a good way to do it. So there's a peg on the Apple. There's a hole in the hand.
Yep.
And then it plugs right in.
And he's
ready to spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
That's it. He's gonna have a little bit more deco on him.
On the shirt or the pants or both, or
he's gonna have our rendition of like an Apple face kind of thing on
sure.
his, and then
probably have to dance around.
Yes. Yeah, we had to redraw it. And then he'll have like, Hasbro-esque old school-esque flowers on his, like a flower pattern.
That's cool.
Kind of like reminiscent slightly of like the Kamala stars.
Right.
Am I in a good spot still?
No, move over a little.
All right, cool. That's my good side.
Yeah.
If I have one. But yeah, so
yeah, no, that's great. And I think designed, inspired at least, I should say, also by his first action figure, right? Which was
100%.
Great.
I actually toyed around with giving him the
textured hair,
doink hair.
Yeah. Oh, like real rooted hair.
Yeah, but it just turned into like
that'd be pretty expensive, probably.
It's I don't even know if it's an expense thing, but it was more like a thing that I have to worry about, like a headache thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
if it doesn't work, people are gonna be mad.
And again, we could have, once we got a real prototype of a plastic sample prototype of it, I could have made the final decision then.
Right.
I'm almost positive he even sculpted his head bald, and he gave me the hair also as like a separate. But
this version is one piece, by the way.
Yes,
that's cool.
That's
cool. See,
it's very cool. I think it's a great representation of him.
It's cool. It's a lot of fun.
The timing is weird now.
Yeah, tell me. This may be too sensitive of a question.
Well,
do you get at all concerned with certain gray areas that we dance in?
There's a lot of dancing. I don't know. I worry about I worry about everything. That's my problem.
That's right. You think that boats sink because they take a long time
exactly.
to travel. So I guess yeah, look, all you're doing is trying to produce some figures. That's all.
Right. And I try to do it in the most respectful way possible to not only these guys individually as people and as from having respect to the the companies that they worked for.
That's good. What I mean? That's good.
And I try to do things on them that are not too encroaching, I guess.
That makes sense.
So
is this? Do we have anything else?
I have this is a.
Do we have anything? Oh, we have more.
Sam had me on the show, so.
Oh, that's an exclusive. I can already see.
Another exclusive.
Another exclusive.
Not only did we have the Bastion.
We had we had the first ever assembly of the entire Orange card series.
Love it. I swear, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm so happy that I was here for that.
Cool, right?
It meant a lot, especially trying to fill in the blanks myself.
Yeah.
I mean?
No, it's really cool. Like I have a area on my shelf over there that's like Retro's over here, Hasbro's over here, but there's like one space where it's like, this is the Orange Card series.
I love it.
And it's cool that everybody is represented.
And I think they're all well represented for the most part.
Yeah.
I think personally, I think maybe the only one that I would have maybe preferred a little different is the Luger. I like the outfit and I like the way they did the paint and everything, but I don't like that body for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just there is a difference between the slam and this right. This isn't necessarily
I feel like he's doing aerobics or something.
Original action. Yeah, no.
But I still love it, and I still think it's well represented.
So what do we got here?
So this is something that we're working on now. I know there were like the people that had like the gold.
Oh,
they had the gold fever.
Okay,
so I was hoping that this would, a little piece of gold will appease them.
This is cool, man. This is very cool. It is
it's a repaint.
Yeah, it's a repaint, but it's like super different. That's probably, I would say 96, late 96.
It's like when he first kind of turned
heel. Yeah, that's like SummerSlam era.
Before he kind of went to like when he had the same the outfit was like the same premise, but
yeah. You know what? This matches perfectly with the Mattel Retro Undertaker with the mask. This is the one.
That's why we had just finished this. They had just finished painting it, and then I saw that I got the retro in the mail, and I was like, "Holy cow!"
It matches perfectly.
Yes.
You know what? The fact that you pulled off 3 different Nelsons and they're actually all worthy of having their own figures is pretty cool.
I will say, if this one does come to pass, which you're
not 100% sure this will get made.
That's why I was even hesitant to like. I wanted to show it to you, but I was hesitant. But I have no regrets so far. I just feel like
YOLO.
Yeah. So I feel like I want it to be done, and it's not going to be 150 like the other variants. I think we're going to do at least 500 of them.
Right.
If it happens, it's going to be at least 500.
500.
Because
what's that price tag going to look like though?
It's going to be a little bit more, but it is not going to be as hefty as those other two. I felt like those were meant to be collector's items.
Yes.
That's the way I think of it. So like when Jax, and I'm in no way, shape, or form comparing myself to Jax or that level of, size or whatever. But, every year they had the 1 of 100s. I had them all at one point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
These are meant to represent something like that. Like I wanted them to be for the collectors that want to have just that little bit in their collection that's an exclusive type thing. Just like when people go and spend $1,500 now, Sam. Now,
yeah,
now,
I didn't before.
Now, no, you didn't. Now for the Hogan, you know what I mean? Like I can only dream that one day maybe these will be worth that much money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll all be gone from me anyway at that point. So I'll just be able to look back and say, man, I should have held on to those.
Well, dude, I mean, this is pretty cool. When you look at the fact that there were, I'm not even going to say a lot of them, a lot of us.
Yes.
That were like,
100%.
Love Mitch. He's not coming out with figures. Like, it's not happening. Like, you know what? He has he has the loftiest goals. I get where his heart's at. These figures ain't coming out.
Yeah, and if they do,
and now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, I got
an army.
An army,
and I have literally like probably 10 more sculpts finished now that of ones that are coming out that I just keep having them, put them together just so that they're ready. So that when it's time to. That's why I kind of delayed a little bit with.
And I feel like you're taking Cardona's advice a little bit more now.
Shutting up,
doing a lot of work in silence. Yeah. You got to give him credit. He was right on that.
He was right, and especially in the beginning. Now I feel like, you know what I mean. If I start saying things,
you got a little credibility.
It's a little bit more acceptable.
People have their Nelson and Bobby's
stuff in hand.
Yes.
We didn't put out a bajillion pre-orders. You know what I mean. Like I feel like we're still in a safe zone. And again, it goes back to like doing 1 or 2 figures at a time. You're not going to fall into that pit where, oh crap, this guy's got 20 pre-orders out and we haven't gotten them yet. You know what I mean? Like I don't ever want to be that guy. I try to make it so that you don't have the next one, next pre-order until you have them in hand. Mm-hmm. We had an exception with the Men on a Mission because they fell off the cart. So now we're, rectifying the,
Sure.
whatever 100, I think it's 100 orders that we have to still fill on those. But I don't think that's an astronomical amount of number considering the amount of pre-orders that we did fill. So, the scale is definitely tipping in the favor of fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Should we do our finale?
Sure.
Should we should we do it? You okay with this?
Yeah.
Are you crying?
No.
You gonna be okay with this?
I'm not crying. You're crying.
If we now, has anybody, will this be, because I'm all about, we're making history here.
Oh, we did it.
Right? We're making a lot of history.
Twice already, right? Now this is going to be
First orange card set, fully assembled.
fantastic.
First public viewing of bad guy Nelson.
Yep. He'll have a crown too, by the way.
He will have a crown.
If it comes out, he'll be complete with crown. So.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Should we be the first people to just rip the bag open?
Go for it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Open it from the top though. I kind of want to see the.
So you haven't opened one of these?
No, not since they've been sealed. No.
Wow. So this really is an experiment.
Yeah.
That's a nice. Oh, I love that.
Get that sound right.
And it's a nice clean rip.
Yeah.
Which means that you can, if you do want to open up. By the way, 149 now.
Yeah.
That's open. There's 149 bobbies.
That's true.
Yeah. But it is. It's a nice clean rip, so I can keep the bag.
Yeah. Can I ask if I don't know if this is possible, but can we, before you open the next one, can we just bring that? We're not gonna open him, but can we just bring that Hogan into the frame so we could see them?
Yeah. Hang on.
This is a first. Now this is gonna be the first old school bagged Hasbro mail away that is in the same presence as these other ones that are coming out now.
Right. So, and that's
the bag quality, I think, may be very similar. It's close.
I respect that you're doing it. By the way, Bobby's open. Bobby is open.
He's beautiful.
It's a nice figure. Let me make some room for him because I don't want him to fall.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that. Sometimes when I look at them, I'm like, man, these kind of should have maybe been the first ones we did. I'd love.
It's really, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the gold ones are good too. But
I love them. Both of them are equally as cool to me. But I just
no, it really, these pop.
That's my crazy brain. Saying but
look at that, and this is the real. We pulled it out of a bin full of all the other ones that are going to be available at New York Comic Con. That's exactly
right in front of the studio. We did it.
Yep, that's exactly the figure. Now, at your request, here's the original mail-away Hogan.
I went by memory because I don't have this yet in my personal collection. So
it's got the warning on here. It's got the warning on here.
And the holes. I even used the hole puncher, and I
no,
punched,
you didn't.
I swear I punched holes in the...
You psycho.
You should have. See, he's got the
yeah,
holes.
the holes are the same.
Yes.
What a psycho.
Yes. Hopefully people appreciate my psychoticness.
I think they will. We're all nuts.
But the bag quality, right? Similar?
Very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Because I had two different types of bags that we could have used.
Yes.
And I went with this one because I remembered feeling... The last mail-away Hogan I sold, I believe, was the one I sold to you. I've sold maybe 15 or 16 of them in my entire tenure as a toy peddler.
And I got one.
And you got one.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, and I appreciate this, Mitch. This is big of you to let me do this.
He might be a little harder because he was heavier, so I made sure I
secured it. Yeah. I mean, this is why we're in bags, right? There it is. Nice, clean. Still clean. Had to pull it a little hard.
Yep.
And there it is.
I didn't use a hairdryer to seal them or anything.
Stickers on there. Old school sticker.
Yep.
And there are now only 149 Nelsons. And boom.
He's fantastic. I love the color. Of course, I'm partial to the pink because of the whole logo thing. But
yeah. I like the turquoise. The turquoise really pops. Look at that.
That's fantastic.
That's how a lot of people remember.
Yeah, when they first came.
But, it's good that you did them at least in yellow. The original Hasbro sketches, I think, were that gold color. So
mustardy.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, that's what I was saying, too. Like, when I was, I forget where I was talking about it, but, like, it was, might have been one of the other podcasts, but I can't remember. But anyhow, so it was definitely like it was even more like a gray color, right? Like that they showed it, like when you look at the sketches.
It was like a dulled marker though. Yeah, it's all right. But it looked like it was done in like gold Sharpie.
I wanted them to pop, man. You don't want them to be, like you said, you don't want them to be too cartoony, but you still want them to have that vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have no regrets. I stand by my choice. I think it looks fantastic.
And how do you feel about the fact that we popped these bad boys open just now?
Man, you know what? You paid for them, so that's it. You do whatever you want with them.
Look at those holes, hole punch holes and everything.
I wanted to get as close as I could with what means I had. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, Mitch, you pulled it off, dude.
Thank you.
My hat goes off to you. I would have loved to bring you down here and grill you about how come all your figures suck, but they don't suck. So what can I tell you?
Thank you.
You know, I would have done, if they sucked, I would have said like, no,
me.
dude, you can't come over. Your figures are terrible.
As much friends as we are, you would have definitely been honest with
I 100%.
That's what a true friend would do.
I 100% would have told you if I didn't like them. And I almost wish I didn't like them so I could tell you that I didn't like them, but I do like them.
I appreciate you having me here. And this is, this is an honor, honestly, to be here. And, I know others have sat here and, it's, I'm just happy to make an appearance and to show you some of this good stuff. Maybe, if I behave myself, you'll have me back again in maybe a year or so and we could do some more updates and more fun stuff.
You know what? If you got this kind of product to show off a year from now, like more new stuff like this, if you got 10 sculpts in the chamber just waiting.
That's one of the struggles, man, is to try to like.
Yeah, I mean, I could see us doing this again.
You can't really outdo it, but you can kind of just, like you said before, you kind of just got to stay the course and make sure that there is something different that makes it slightly, to the next tier. Even if it's only a half a step up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
and here they are one more time. And so, is there any spot you want to send people to? I know a lot of this stuff they can't get, but like, is there any spot that you want to send people to for like very price upped later releases or
non-pre-ordered figures?
Right.
But I hope the people that did pre-order them appreciate that.
I think they will. But is there anything you want to, any spot you want to send people to get stuff?
Grapplers and Gimmicks on Instagram. Also, the mothership is Hasttel Toy, Hasttel Toy, on Instagram and Facebook. And www.hasteltoy.com is where you would go to get these. And also, I believe www.grapplers and Gimmicks also works too, but it's so damn long that I don't really advertise it. Hasttel Toy is easier to present to people. So.
Well, keep your eye out on all that stuff. Once again, here we are, thanks to Zombie Sailor, Grapplers and Gimmicks, WWE Mattel. We've got the orange card set, man.
And it looks phenomenal.
It really does look phenomenal, doesn't it?
I really do love that Diesel still. I love it. A lot of people pick on him, but I love it.
And the head looks like the sketch.
Right.
I think yeah. I'm happy to have them all in the collection, and thank you for making that possible, bud.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
No problem. Thanks for having me.